Well, I'm delighted to welcome to the studio Princess Diana's former butler and the man she described as her rock. It's the one and only Paul Burrell. Paul, thank you very much for coming on. Now, it's a poignant night to speak to you, Paul, OK, because after the final series of the Netflix show The Crown hit our screens today, the final episodes focus on events leading up to Diana's death, including this scene just hours before the tragic car crash.
Balmoral Castle.
Oh, it's Diana calling for the boys.
You've just missed them, ma'am. The prince has waited for your call, but have gone back out again. I'm so sorry, ma'am.
Maybe try again at dinner time. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Goodbye.
Paul, look, your reaction to seeing that portrayed?
It's heartbreaking, isn't it? It's heartbreaking to think that Diana, all she wanted to do was get through to her children. She rang me from the yacht most days, and what she said to me was, I'm bored here. It's freezing cold in the air conditioning. It's roasting hot on deck. All I want to do is get home to my boys. And I don't know whether that phone call actually happened. I know that Diana did speak to the boys before she died. I know she did. She told me. Because she rearranged her programme. She said to me, I'm going to be a day late because Dodie has to do work for his father at the Ritz Hotel in Paris. I'm on the Harrods jet. I can't get home any other way, so I'm going to have to go with him. She didn't want to go. She didn't want to go to Paris. And that night, she didn't want to go out. She was happy to stay in the Ritz. She didn't want all that fuss with the paparazzi. But somehow he persuaded her to go out. The chain of events that led to her death were tragic. And, you know, I've lived with it for 26 years. I was there with her for 10 years, so I knew her inside out.
You mentioned that you were there with her for 10 years, and I understand that you've been written out of The Crown.
I'm not there. I've been airbrushed. See, history...
Is that weird?
Is it weird? Well, in a way, I think The Crown isn't factual. There should be a disclaimer across it saying these events may not have happened, which many of them didn't happen. They're only to drive the narrative and the character forward. I'm not there because if I had been there, Diana wouldn't have been perceived as a lonely, vulnerable woman who was creating this reckless situation around her. I would have been the stability in it. So I couldn't have been there because Peter Morgan wouldn't have wanted that character any other way other than vulnerable and wounded.
Yeah.
And a victim, the way she was portrayed.
So your overall take on what you've seen from The Crown as it comes to its conclusion is what?
I'm upset by it. I think it's cruel. It's cruel to Diana's memory. It's cruel for the boys to watch. I mean, I'm finding it unbearable, so I'm sure they won't watch it. I think it's cruel to the Queen's memory, too, because the way the Queen is portrayed in The Crown, she's a very hard, cold woman who doesn't seem to care about anybody or anything. That is not the Queen that I stood beside for 11 years, because I was a lucky guy that stood beside the Queen for 11 and then Diana for 10. So I know these two characters very well. And the Queen was a very warm, kind, generous woman who looked out for people. That doesn't come across in The Crown. So don't believe the characterizations that you're being shown in The Crown because they are not the people that I knew.
And you don't think that either Harry or William will watch? Because Harry has said that he does watch.
I'm surprised that he would watch it, but then he's in bed with Netflix, isn't he?
Yeah,
so maybe he has to watch it because the content is important. Maybe it's going to reflect on his future projects. I'm sure, I can bet you my house that William will not watch it.
Well, why? Why do you think?
Because William remembers the truth. William knows the truth, the way it actually did pan out. Why should he want to watch some recreation when he knows it and he lived with it?
Are you glad that it's coming to an end now, The Crown?
Yes. Yeah, I am, absolutely. I don't think this series should have been made.
Right.
I think it should have finished. But they've capitalised on Diana's popularity. They've used her character to drive this current series through, because the first 4 episodes are all about Diana.
Yeah.
And she does appear as a ghost and comes back to the Queen, which is a little bit weird. But then is it? Because Diana is the ghost that will always haunt the House of Windsor. She'll always be there. We will always talk about her because she's become an icon of our times.
Yeah.
And because she was a good, kind person, because she was 36, because she was a young mother with 2 young boys, because she'd been cheated on by her husband. And how many women out there will tell you that happened to me too. So that's why I followed Diana's life. But 36.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe.
Well, as I get older now, I'm 31 now, so I think, God, 5 years' time, I'm flipping out. And she crammed so much into that. Look, Paul, very, very quickly, I hadn't actually planned on asking you this, but I thought while you're sitting there, Nigel Farage is in I'm a Celeb, right? So I thought, I'm not going to let you get away without asking this. You provided the nation with one of the most iconic moments, right? Do you think he could win it?
I do. I think he's going to be a very popular contestant because, like me, he's Marmite. You either like him or you loathe him. But if you like him or loathe him, you'll still watch him. Yeah. You still will be entertained by him. And that's what that show is about. It's not about how many trials you do. It's about how popular you are with the public, because it's a public popularity competition.
Quick bit of advice for him. Quick bit of advice for him.
Do everything.
Right.
Just hold your breath. Don't sniff through your nose because you don't want to smell those smells. Just pretend you're going to the dentist and swallow it quick. Oh, gosh, I tell you what, look, Paul, thank you very, very much. Absolute pleasure having you on. I must say, first time I met in person, but it feels like I've known you for years because I've been seeing you everywhere. But there we go. That was the wonderful Paul Burrell. Thank you very, very much.